One quick Best Ball Mania draft. We're so close to the season. There's no way that I'm taking a day off. Let's have ourselves a nice little afternoon.
It's Short King Summer, dude. It just feels like no one in fantasy sports ever learns anything. Does he mistime it, or is Brock Bowers just a grown man? Brock Bowers is just a grown man. Dare I say, Rich, football might be back. In the words of Lane Johnson, this offense looks constipated. It's Short King Summer.
All right, GM, everyone. How are we all doing today? Sorry to hit you guys with a little bit of a late stream, but, sometimes live calls. Tuesday, a very busy day, doing doing ADP chasing, doing the Swolecast. We've got it all going. We've got updated rankings. I just pushed through updated rankings. So if you are a subscriber over at patreon.com/DavisMattic, you guys can go ahead and check those out right now. I've got them uploaded into the Sidekick. Let me reset the overlay here. We have drawn, drafting out of the 12. So could be better, could be worse. Don't hate drafting out of the 12. We have an absolute fire hose amount of news happening right now in the National Football League. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. All kinds of stuff. Hollywood Brown left practice with an ankle injury. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is in the 2-minute drill. Rashid Shaheed is looking like Randy Moss at the New Orleans camp. Keandre Lambert-Smith looks unbelievable. We've got Noah Fant visiting the Miami Dolphins. Malik Neighbors has a shoulder injury that a source described as nothing serious. Browns owner Jimmy Haslam said that he was cautiously optimistic that Quinshon Judkins would play for the Browns in 2025. Not an update that offers a lot to be excited about to me. Jerome Ford did return to practice. The NFL could also put some discipline on Judkins themselves. Chiefs coach Andy Reid said he didn't think Hollywood's Brown ankle injury looked too bad, but we'll quote unquote see. Sort of interesting there. Sabre asking what I think of Kyle Williams. I think Kyle Williams is a totally fine player. I think he's probably a good buy at his average draft position right now. I'm not head over heels for him. Who is your favorite round 18 click? Woody Marks is my favorite round 18 pick. There was a good video that my friend Hayden Winks posted on X, the Everything app today, and there was a video from a guy very familiar with the Houston Texans. His name is Aaron Wilson. He's very plugged in. He said, and I quote, "There's a chance," in parentheses, Joe Mixon could be ready for the first game. There is also a chance that he might not be ready. So, hard to say what's going on there, but I really like Woody Marks as a round 18 click. There are some pretty decent changes that I've made to the rankings, actually. Wow, Devin A-Chain there at 10 to raise my boy Razor 33. How about that? You never know who you're going to see in these streets. We are up on the clock. Need to move the Sidekick out of the way. I will slurp the Dipperino here on Malik Neighbors. I will add in Amon-Ra St. Brown with him. So starting with a little bit of a Piss Boys start there. Small fall here for Justin Jefferson down at pick 5. Some other camp news. We had Cam Scatterbo taking reps with the starting offense for the very first time. I think that is sort of interesting. ESPN's Kevin Seifert reported that Vikings running back Jordan Mason received the first snap of Monday's full practice with the first team. I don't think that is nothing. Darnell Mooney is on pace to be reevaluated with his shoulder injury. And one that I think is sort of sneaky is Cowboys offensive tackle Tyler Guyton, who is quite good, did not tear his ACL. He has a bone fracture in his knee. I use the sidekick. I prefer the sim sidekick. Now, my results on the sidekick are going to look different than the ones that you guys get because I use my own rankings inside of the sidekick. I am clicking Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt of the Washington Commanders. I think that Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is actually probably a good pick right now. Andrew thinks that Joe Mixon misses 2 games. Both guys look like crap. No swearing. How about that? And Joe Mixon dominates touches. Yeah, basically, I mean, unless we get too close to the season, I am going to try to stream 100% of my Best Ball Mania drafts. No promises on that, but that is going to be what we are trying to do. I think that is sort of kind of everything as it pertains to the news. I haven't seen any other big news updates. Justin Fields says his toe is good. Marshawn Lloyd was diagnosed with a non-contact groin injury. Kevin O'Connell said this about Justin Jefferson. I have zero worry about the opener, but there's a lot of time between now and then. What that looks like, we're going to be smart, but at the same time, he wants to get back out there. Yes, I am buying this. Curious your guys' thoughts on this, but I agree. It's seeming like it is trending for Brashard Smith to have a role earlier on the Kansas City Chiefs offense, which again, if you look at the Kansas City Chiefs offense, I mean, we already have Hollywood Brown being injured. You just need some explosion. You just need some juice for the Kansas City Chiefs offense. And I don't really know who else on the team is going to be able to provide that juice other than Brashard Smith. 0 explosive runs for Kareem Hunt last year. Glue Eater, drafting into the 2-hole here, by the way, selects Amari and Hampton at pick 26. Just want it on the record right now, July 29th. I am totally fine with that. I think that is a fine strategy to use. Wow, Garrett Wilson is still available. Is Jacobin Myers going to select him? Jacobin Myers 2206. Come on, give me Garrett Wilson. I've been good, man. Give me a he's gonna auto draft him. Yep, auto draft. That is pretty tilting. So we are going to select, you know what? I actually am going to take Breece Hall. How about this? Let's boomer it up. Let's do Breece and Kyron Williams together. So after 4 rounds, we are at Malik Neighbors, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Breece Hall, and Kyron Williams. That gives us a good positional distribution. Wow, I have not seen Kenneth Walker go at 38 yet. That is very early. But now, basically, at 60, 61, and 84, 85, we can kind of do whatever. I'll tell you what, a big thing that taking Breece and Kyron there at 36, 37 allows us to do, it allows us to take a quarterback if we want at 84, 85 and reach a little bit to figure out that distribution. Yeah. Anyone know if you can make slow draft picks abroad? About to get on a plane to England. What I have heard, I have never tried to do this, but what I've heard is that if you get logged out for whatever reason, you cannot log back in. And if you can't log back in, you're cooked. So I would tell you to well, first off, I would tell you to have some good rankings. I think you could probably get those rankings over at patreon.com/DavisMattic, by the way. If Brashard Smith has a legit role early, does that imply Pacheco could project not as good? You know, here's the thing I would tell you about that. Isaiah Pacheco's best season came with a real receiving role for another running back, so I don't think it's that big of an issue. Isaiah Pacheco in 2023, I guess actually maybe I'm lying a little bit. So Isaiah Pacheco had 205 rushes. Jerick McKinnon was still on that team. He had 32 targets. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 22 targets, only 49 targets for Pacheco. Pacheco's value lies in getting some of the goal line work. Mr. Bearcat was just in Croatia and couldn't log in. Steelers did release fellow Hutchinson Community College alumni, Cordarrelle Patterson. Am I worried that Justin Jefferson might miss most of camp? I'm getting worried, asks Hunter. For me, no. No, I do not. I am not worried about Justin Jefferson missing time in camp. If there's any player, like, I think you could feel the same if Jamar Chase got injured. I think you'd feel the same if Nico Collins got injured, if Lamb got injured in camp. I mean, obviously you would want them to get to full health, but in and of itself, for a veteran player of that degree of ability, missing camp is totally whatever. Hollywood Brown. Yeah, I mean, I'm a little worried about Hollywood Brown suffering an ankle injury. This is a man. How many lower body injuries have we seen Hollywood Brown suffer throughout the years? Hollywood Brown has injured his foot. He's injured his hamstring. He's injured his calf. Hollywood Brown has injured a lot of parts of his lower body. So I would, I mean, it's not good. I'll tell you this. It's certainly not good. My boy Razor took Jordan Addison at 58. We are up in one pick. I think RJ Harvey would be fine. I think Rome. Yeah, let's do Harvey here as our third running back, and then let's take Rome Odunze. So through 6 picks, we are Malik Neighbors. So we've got Dart there. We've got Goff live with St. Brown. Don't really want Brees and Fields together. It would be fine. We have Kyron Williams at pick 37. RJ Harvey at pick 60 would be fine with him and Knicks, and then Rome Odunze at pick 61. As Peter mentions, these are all bumps and bruises, not injuries. That, I think, is a little untrue. Guys certainly can get injured. Peter is highlighting a key part of training camp, though, which is that the first time you were asking your body to go full speed after not having played organized football for a long time is you are going to see some soft tissue stuff. You're going to see some hamstring. You are going to see some calf muscles. You're going to see some quads. Like, it's just the nature of the business. It depends on what you mean by, am I sprinkling in training camp darlings? I'm not like sprinkling in Tyquan Thornton, who everyone in Kansas City seems to love. I'm not interested in that. But I am interested in guys who are going to have clearer paths to playing time than anticipated early. So Keandre Lambert-Smith for the Chargers is one of them. It seems like Keandre Lambert-Smith might even be able to win not even just the wide receiver 5 job for the Chargers, but the wide receiver 4 jobs. Have I commented on the Juwan Jennings injury? If he's still not practicing next week, I will consider reevaluating, but it didn't seem like a big injury to me yet. And Jennings is just, I think, such a good pick that I am fine to hand wave away just a smidgen of early training camp injuries. Getting hurt the first day of contact is not ideal no matter what. Well, sure. I mean, all things considered, you would like for the guys you are taking in fantasy football to be 100% healthy, although, the actual reality of being 100% healthy is hard to find. The delicate balance that you are always trying to play with your first round picks is, or just any good player who's injured, is to some degree, the production of the highest drafted players is irreplaceable. It's why we want to take Christian McCaffrey. It's why, Puka, I think you could describe as an injury-prone player. It's why 31-year-old Derrick Henry is selected here. It's why Tyreek Hill, despite coming off a down year of production, is still a second-round pick. There are only so many players who can score 17 points per game, 18 points per game, 19 points. Like, there are just a finite number of players who can do that. And that's why you just kind of have to suck it up and take, in my opinion, best way to get info on all teams' training camps. Our good friend Coach Speak Index does some very good stuff in his Discord. The 32 Beat Writers account on X, the Everything app, is very good. I quite like them. The Underdog NFL account is very good on Twitter. The Roto World Player News tab is very good. I personally recommend having an Athletic subscription. I get a lot of information out of reading The Athletic. All right, we are back on the clock. Wow, I am going to absolutely slap the button. I'm getting lucky here in this draft. I don't know how Emeka Egbuka got to me at 84 and Pollard got to me at 85. I guess Mahomes went early. Brian Robinson Jr. went early. Who else went early in a weird way? I guess Jaden Reed went a little early. Godwin went a little early. So through 8 rounds, Malik Neighbors, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Breece Hall, Kyron Williams, RJ Harvey, Rome Odunze, Emeka Egbuka, Tony Pollard, perfectly balanced. 4 running backs, 4 wide receivers. Oh yeah, I just there you go, fellas. I just came back from getting a mole removed. Pearsall at 51. I wonder if we got that. Feels like a star method to me. This one feels like a star method error to me. Although you never know. I have Tyquan Thornton in closed time box contest, going from Mac Jones and Zappy to Mahomes. All right. Now, this one is going to be pretty interesting, actually, because I might just get unlucky enough to get no quarterbacks. At pick 108, pick 109, if all these quarterbacks go, I could definitely find myself getting a smidgen unlucky. Let's look at some of the guys who I changed in rankings. I have Mixon all the way down at 111. I have Najee all the way down at 144. I moved Marks up to 190. I have Chubb at 159, which is ahead of his quote-unquote ADP, but not where he is going. Are we still doing 5th round Addison? I mean, my boy Razor did just take him at 58. I do not have Jordan Addison ranked there. I have Addison ranked at 66, which looks like that is his actual average draft position. Although I do like Jordan Addison. Is Quinshon Judkins done? Well, I have Quinshon Judkins. Oh, well, that's a mistake. Okay, I got to go fix that right now. It looks as if I did not put Quinshon Judkins in my rankings. So that is a mistake. Why would he have not been in my rankings? Okay, so I need to move. Okay, I see what I did. I don't really think Judkins is draftable, to be honest. I have a very hard time. The quote from Jimmy Haslam today did not sound very good. Let's move. I have to put him in my sheet. Okay. With ADP weight, I am going to put Quinshon Judkins at 140. I'm going to put him one slot below Ray Davis and Javonte Williams. To me, it doesn't sound like Quinshon Judkins is going to be playing a meaningful role for the Cleveland Browns in 2025. It's July 29th, and he has not signed a contract with the team. So that doesn't feel particularly great. Like, the Browns open their season and play in 39 days. Dang. Shaheed would have been nice for this team. So we are going to learn. Maybe we just double tap quarterbacks here. Oh, okay. All right. Let's take Caleb. I think maybe we do Caleb and Ingram here. I also have, shout out Brandles Candles. I've moved Scattaboo up a good bit. Actually, you know what? Let's just take Goff. Let's just take Goff and be done at quarterback. We can do a 3 tight end team. Absolutely love Amarian Hampton. I think Amari Hampton is one of the best picks on the board right now. Yeah, I've got Bigsby way ahead of Judkins. Now, T-Bear, noted lawyer, T-Bear, if Judkins pleads guilty, he signs a contract the next day. Not as bullish as you think, which is that opens him up to being suspended. The issue with this being a misdemeanor and a 3-game suspension is that ain't how the NFL works. Domestic violence convictions end up with 6-game suspensions more often than not. I'm sorry, Chad. I did not mean to rug you, brother. I don't understand Godwin going before Igbuka. Well, Godwin was the #1 scoring wide receiver in fantasy football last season. Doesn't mean that he is going to resume that production, but Emeka Igbuka is a rookie who we think is good, but we are not certain is good. Godwin has a very, very strong delineated role for the 2025 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's just no way around it. He will absolutely be playing and probably playing pretty well. And I would be stunned to see Chris Godwin traded. I think it's very unlikely that Chris Godwin is traded by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of all the scenarios that happens for him this season, I think that is one of the least likely. I agree with this. Wide receiver 60 to 85 feels like one giant tier. Yeah, I would basically say from Olave to Igbuka, you can kind of convince me any order of those guys. Let's see. People are saying likely just got carted off. I'm gonna need more information than that to start freaking out. Yes, his contract is incredibly hard to trade. It just feels very unlikely. Man, I was going to say, where did Tyler Warren? Yeah, Tyler Warren went. It would have been unreal for him to get back to me. I kind of agree with this after QJ and Hollywood. Again, the guys sort of all feel the same. Yeah, more Trent Sherfield propaganda. Absolutely disgusting. This is going to be quite a poor tight end team. But that's okay. I've gotten a little bit more hip to Jake Ferguson over the last couple weeks. He feels like a potential winner. You know what? I'm not going to take Hollywood right now. Let's do Tootin. And you know what? Let's do Jake Ferguson. I've got him and Goddard back to back. But let's do that. So that brings us now to I need to move the sidekick. That brings us to a 2-5-4-1 with Malik Neighbors, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Breece Hall, Kyron Williams, RJ Harvey, Roma Dunze, Emeka Igbuka, Tony Pollard, Caleb Williams. Would have been a nice team to select Colston Loveland. No real late round wide receiver options here. Potentially an Isaac Tesla team. Rank the Buccaneers wide receivers after Evans. I mean, it's just unknowable. Right? I mean, end of the day, it is unknowable because so much of it is predicated on Chris Godwin's health. And I don't know, you don't know, Chris Godwin himself might not know how his ankle will respond when they start playing. We are one day away from Trent Sherfield legally changing his name to Lil Trent. I don't know if Cade Otton is quote unquote the best tight end value on the board, as it were. But I will say that I started the year being pretty bearish on Cade because I expected there to be a pretty significant decrease in like 12 personnel. And Cade Otton needs a lot of snaps to get there. Cade Otton basically in his career outside of like that 1 month span has been a pretty inefficient player who's not drawn a ton of targets. And if even 2 of Evans, Godwin, Igbuka, and McMillan are on the field, I wouldn't anticipate a real large, maybe a 15% target share for Cade Otton, but I would be a little bit surprised by that. Yes, here's another Trent Sherfield update. Pretty apparent from Broncos camp so far that Trent Sherfield could legit play snaps at wide receiver. He's caught a lot of passes, burned Jaquan McMillan on a hitch and go on one-on-ones. I like taking Jatavian Sanders, but to me, the best tight end value on the board is one of these 2 gentlemen right here, Juwan Johnson or Theo Johnson. You can get them almost every time in the late, literally 18th round. Cade Otton's entire production history came from the first few weeks of Godwin being out, Cohen building the plane out of Otton dump-offs and realizing that isn't a winning brand of football. Fact check true. Who's been your highest exposure player in your years of best ball? I mean, I would assume in terms of dollars invested, Xavier Worthy almost certainly has to be the number 1. Thoughts on Mooney? I really wasn't drafting Mooney before, and now Darnell Mooney has a shoulder injury. Yeah, this room is a bit strange. What can you do? We're getting closer. We're getting closer to the season. Retail has arrived. All right, what do we do with this next pick? We could take Hunter Henry. We are quite behind at wide receiver, though. Yeah, Darnell Mooney being a Jacob Sanderson brand guy was stunning. Was not anticipating that in any way, shape, or form. Dang, QJ went. He would have been a strong pick on this team. Sounds like Tootin was falling a little bit yesterday because he had a hamstring injury, but he is already back at practice. All right. Man, we are about to make the most boring pick in fantasy football. We are going to select one Mr. Romeo Doubs. And then do we take... No, we're going to keep pushing it. I'm going to take Demario Douglas. So now we have a 2-5-6-1. This is certainly going to be a 3 tight end team. Likely's amputation is scheduled for 3:45. I am not with Jacob on Mooney. I think the Bateman line this year is not Darnell Mooney. I'm willing to extend, frankly, the Bateman line to Jaden Higgins and Trey Harris, 2 of my most drafted wide receivers, 2 of the guys I have ranked highest relative to the market. I think they're both quite strong picks. So the team is Malik Neighbors, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Breece Hall, Kyron Williams, RJ Harvey, Rome Odunze, Emeka Egbuka, Tony Pollard, Caleb Williams with Rome, Goff with St. Brown, Tootin as the running back 5, Jake Ferguson, Romeo Doubs, and Demario Douglas. Shaheed is in his own tier. In my opinion, Rashid Shaheed is in his own tier. There you go. Quinshawn Judkins off the board at 162, back-to-back with one Mr. Nicholas Chubb. If you guys, I assume most of you guys have already seen this because you're chronically online and you're watching a best ball stream on Tuesday, July 29th. But this quote from D'Amico Ryans about Nick Chubb is so brutal. The quote is, Guy's age, he's been through a lot. It's not always going to be the same as his early years in the NFL. But what I hang my hat on with him is that this guy loves football. He's physical. He plays and prepares the right way. Really sharp guy in the protection scheme. Man, is that brutal. I just, that's like what you say. I said this in the Discord. That's what you say about your dad when he gets too old to finish 18 holes of golf. When he's like, oh, I want to play 9 or I can only play 14. I mean, unbelievable. So positional allocations on this team, funnily enough, we were just talking about him. I might end up taking Cade Otton because there's not really a stackable option. There's not a bring back for either of our guys. Yes, he acknowledged he's a beat up old man. I'm not double counting it. I think I'm just single counting it. And I think what I've just been told is that they just don't view him as a starter. Nick Chubb is what you think Derrick Henry is. Is Tyler Warren this year's Bowers? I don't think so. If Amarian Hampton breaks his first run for a touchdown on Tuesday night, I mean he's gonna go pretty high. Not that he isn't already gonna continue to creep up. Jerome Ford would have been a nice pick on this team. Man, we are going through it at the tight end position in this draft. All right, let's take Cade. And what we have to decide is, do we want to save it for the next turn? Or do we want a third? I don't think we can afford a third quarterback, actually. Let's play this. Like Godwin misses serious time with injury. Oh my God, that was too many Buccaneers. Likely was grabbing his left foot ankle and was punching the ground. He later hobbled into the building, putting very little weight on his foot. It's not what you want. It's not what you want. I should start a training camp cart business. Likely is back out on the field with a peg leg. It's still Charlie Collar and Likely in 12 personnel over Andrews. Yes, McMillan at 181 is fine, but just structurally, I have bent my team a little bit too far in the direction of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers without having... I don't have a Dolphin, and I don't have Baker. Anthony Richardson at 13th. I will say I moved Anthony Richardson up a good bit in my rankings. I didn't move him to 155, but I moved him up quite a bit. Who am I rolling the dice with at Indianapolis for quarterback? I think Richardson starts. Coach Harbaugh said that Isaiah Likely rolled his ankle, and it's, quote, going to be a few weeks. He said Likely will get an MRI tomorrow. I happen to have my rankings page up right now because I just moved Judkins down. So I am going to move Likely down considerably. So all of you guys who are patreon.com/Davis Maddox subscribers, you've got access to this sheet. You are going to see a brand new Isaiah Likely ranking as soon as my sheet loads, which might take a couple seconds. I'm going to move him down quite a bit. Yeah, I did a nice little video on Tank Bigsby on the channel on Sunday. GM. Brady, did you go to the gym today? Tell me you hit the gym today, brother. We slurping the Dipperino unlikely. Honestly, I don't really think Likely is going to impact. I might I might move Andrews. I really probably won't. Honestly, Andrews win at 86 here. That still feels a little rich to me. No, I am about to go do the Fantasy Pros podcast. I tried to get back from the doctor as soon as I could, but time waits for no man. No gym yet, but I did get to the grocery store and get all the food I need from my meal prep. There we go. Yes, they do. They do basically play different positions. Shout out to you for a little bit of ball knowledge there. Wow, Matt Stafford undrafted in this draft. Crazy, crazy stuff. Okay, let's take Theo Johnson on this one. And then is Brashard gone? Brashard is gone. Is my boy Mark's gone? My boy Marks is gone. Let's take Corum. What meals do I eat? I eat a protein, ground beef, ground turkey, chicken breast with rice. I have the 80% of my meals are this is what I've had today, Tate. I had coffee with protein powder and collagen in it. I had chicken and rice, and I had a protein bar. That's what I've eaten today. Yes, boy slop. All right, recap the team. Did Neighbors and St. Brown at the 1-2 turn. Then I double tapped Brees and Kyron. I took RJ Harvey at 60, Roma Dunze at 61. Honestly, got blessed with the Emeka Egbuka at 84. I took Tony Pollard at 85. Caleb Williams and Jared Goff double tap at 108, 109. Byshell Tootin at 132. Jake Ferguson at 133. Romeo Doubs and Demario Douglas. I'm trying to see if I don't know if were any of these a mistake. I don't think so. Honestly, maybe should have just sucked it up and taken Ertz or Gesicki over Douglas. Kate Otten at 180, Jalen McMillan 181, Theo Johnson 204, Blake Corum 205. That is a pretty good game. Yeah, I did not notice this. Wandale didn't get drafted until pick 208. That's crazy. Why Tootin over Bigsby? He's a better player. Also, Wandale is banged up right now. Brady is going to the gym to do chest and tries. My boy AK wants a sauce in the 8-hole. A to the K, 81. Jahmyr Gibbs at 8. My God. Unbelievably good. Drake London. Wow, Xavier Worthy at 32. Where do you get your ideas? George Pickens. Thumbnail boy, Zay Flowers at 56. James Conner at 65. He doesn't care that he's an AARB. Wow, Pat Mahomes at 80. Where do you get your ideas? Jordan Mason. Neil Orfield ass pick. Darnell Mooney. Tampa Bay Buccaneers merchant with an injured shoulder at 104. I can't even, honestly, Brandon Ayuk at 113 is just a good pick. Dylan Sampson. This is actually true. This is actually true. I got a DM. I haven't even talked about this on the stream. I got a DM from a Cleveland Browns beat writer who you guys would know. He works for a major media outlet that you guys would know. He DM'd me unprompted the other day and said, "It is my opinion that Dylan Sampson is just too small and will never survive an NFL season. It is a fact that head coach and play caller is wheels up on Fannin and thinks he can catch 50 balls as a rookie as necessary." Michael Penix with London. Isaiah love to draft a guy who immediately breaks his ankle. Austin Eckler. I actually don't think Austin Eckler does anything for this team. If you have Gibbs and Connor, you do not need Austin Eckler. You'd have been better off with Jaden Blue or Braylon Allen or one of those guys. Ford and Sampson together, I don't love. Jonnu, I mean, he better be watching Loose Change or the Zeitgeist to get in good with Rodgers. Darius Slayton, don't you know he signed a $22 million contract extension? Terrence Ferguson. Cooked up a nice 0 running back team over here. All right, Tom, drafted out of the 5-hole. Justin Jefferson, aren't you worried about his hamstring? This freaking Bowers Jefferson start is so good. Devontae Adams, aren't you worried his quarterback has a broken back? Jaden Daniels, aren't you worried his wide receiver 1 is holding out? Jameson Williams, aren't you worried that he's never had more than 91 targets in a season. Caleb Johnson, aren't you worried about Jalen Warren? Stephon Diggs, aren't you worried about pink cocaine? Jaden Higgins, aren't you worried about Nico Collins? J.K. Dobbins at 101, buying the top there. Cam Scatteraboo, aren't you worried? He's basically Turtle from Entourage. Drake May, leg up ass pick. Rachaad White, 3 touches to 40 touches for Rachaad White in week 16, 17, 18, and in the playoffs last year with Bucky. Kyle Pitts, real Lucy in the football situation there. Jaden Blue, aren't you worried he's lazy? Braylon Allen has his whole life ahead of him. Jack Bash, Peter told me that's a no-no. Jalen Royals, where do you get your ideas? Jalen Lane, where do you get your ideas? I mean, I'm still drafting Dylan Sampson, but it was at least eye-opening information to get. It was not Jeremiah Trotter. I'll tell you that much. It was not Jeremiah Trotter. All right, boys. Gonna go ahead and get out of here. Thank you very much for hanging out. I'll be back with you guys with Chess Liam tomorrow. I am working on a cool project over at patreon.com/DavisMattic. And just a reminder that the streams are currently being sponsored by our friends over at Drafters. You get a $100 deposit bonus if you use the code Davis over there. Helps me out, helps Drafters out. Their main event, $500,000 first place, is going to Overlay. Red Shade Games, you can always email me, davismattic@gmail.com, if you do want to sponsor a stream. But check my friends out over there on Drafters. Even if you only draft a couple teams, with the deposit bonus that you get, that helps me out. It's going to help them out. And make sure you like the video on your way out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for